The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a Primal Lifestyle. With your hosts, Nico and Ellen Haan. Now, Nico and Ellen Haan.
Good morning, I'm Nico Haan, and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced and natural wild world.
To recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms. Good morning, I'm Ellen Haan.
It's a beautiful day in downtown St. Petersburg. It's 50 degrees, it feels like 46. Clear skies, chance of rain 10%. Kind of cool.
It's a little chilly.
But it's nice here. It's just the same. And folks, like to remind you to pick up our Primal Edge. This is, if you want to get healthy, this is a good way to do it. Over 310 organic, cell-ready liquid ingredients. It's very easy to take, and it's all powered by fulvic and humic acid, and that gets the good stuff in.
And it lets the bad stuff out.
And the second thing is our Health Signals newsletter. Got a brand new one out there now, and this follows the show, so all the articles that we talk about on the show are in here, so you can do your own investigation.
Yeah.
So
phoning in. What's
the phone number is 877-927-6648.
Right.
I want to start off today with talking about gray hair.
Yeah, and go ahead.
Well, basically, we're starting to gray a little bit here and there, and we got a little story about that too. So, but gray hair is an inescapable part of growing old for most. Many people in their 30s have gray hair. In fact, I have a good buddy of mine down in Juneau, Florida, that I always ran with, and he was gray when I met him.
Yeah.
And he was in his 30s then. By the time you're 50, a lot of people are gray, and then it just keeps going. I got a little bit gray going on. I had more gray, and color comes back sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't.
It's known by scientists as chromatricia. And it's a long-studied phenomenon, and they're trying to figure out what causes it and what you can do to reverse it or to stop it. And the one good thing is, of course, that it has no correlation whatsoever to mortality. So people who become gray earlier, later, makes no difference. It doesn't seem to be connected to how long you live in any way.
Yeah.
And, I was thinking about it a lot because for women, it's particularly important in society. Women are perceived sometimes as being old and tired and so on.
Well, women have a natural tendency to color the hair more than men do.
Well, now they do, yes. But for men, of course, for a long time, the only, back in the day, who colored your hair, the people who colored their hair were, shall we say, ladies of the evening.
Okay, yes.
And it wasn't the respectable matrons of the town,
I didn't know that's where it started.
Well, I'm sure, at those days, that's what it was.
Sure.
But certainly in our lifetime, women have been coloring their hair. And today, we use color for the hair for fun as well as for cosmetic, different colors, different... People do purple and
I've even seen half the hair black, half the hair white. I mean, everything's going on now.
Themselves. So, that's the nice thing about color. You can change it, and you can whenever you want. You get tired of it, you do something else. And
of course, we also grew up in an era where our hair changed dramatically. After about I was in high school or going into college when the Beatles all of a sudden came in, and then everybody started growing my hair. I certainly did. I had it shoulder length for many years, and I loved that idea of the whole thing. It gave you a little sense of freedom because society kind of restricted that. Get your hair cut. So it was kind of like a rebellion in a sense, and I think those are good for young people to rebel.
Yeah, it was, and my mom, of course, she colored her hair until the day she passed on, and I started coloring just to blend the gray when I was in my...
Well, your natural color is red.
My natural color is auburn, kind of a dark red-brown, highlights and so on. And then about 4 years ago, I decided to be a little bit wilder, and I went with kind of a magenta and burgundy, and then I added the purple.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's fun stuff.
It was fun stuff, and then once everybody in the world started doing purple hair, I decided to change it back, and I went back to the magenta and burgundy, and then at this point, what with COVID and all, I thought, maybe it's time to see what my hair looks like.
Yeah, and in fact, we had discussed it a couple of times because you'd mentioned, so when I retire, I'm going to just let my hair grow gray. And I says, yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. I have your full support in all of this.
Of course,
and that makes a big difference, because I think if there's pressure from your partner to look younger or to do something different, then it's going to be a lot harder to deal with.
Well, I like you just the way you are.
Thank goodness.
So hair appears to the naked eye as white, silver, or gray, absent the pigments that otherwise color hair in shades of black, brown, blonde, or red, which within each follicle are cells, and these produce two basic pigments, and these depend on your DNA. So it's,
eumelanin is in black and brown hair, and pheomelanin is in red, auburn, or blonde hair.
Right.
And apparently the pigments in the scalp hairs degrade much more slowly than the skin colors do, the melanin in skin. So that allows the hair to keep its color as it grows out over an average of 3.5 years.
Yeah, so as the substance decreases in numbers, then the cells begin to wane. Everybody is a little different. And for Caucasians, we actually go a little bit earlier. We get into the gray in the mid-30s. Asians, maybe the
late 30s.
The late 30s. And for African Americans, usually mid-40s.
Yeah, it's interesting. And there is a specific gene that's related to graying hair.
Right.
The interferon regulatory factor 4, IRF4.
IRF4.
Yeah, is responsible for regulating production and storage of melanin. So the question is, all right, so if we can't change your genetics, and it can't change time, but
we've tried. We can't. Yeah, so what happens? Why does this happen to us? It has to do with just naturally growing old and we grow gray. And here it says in the 2018 published study of the Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology found that among almost 1,200 volunteers between the age of 18 and 20, those with premature graying were most likely to have a family history of that. Have a genetic tendency to develop allergic diseases such as eczema, and asthma. Or be a vegetarian. That's the other thing too. And
that's a strange combination and juxtaposition, isn't it? And it's just, so it's kind of genetic and or what you eat or don't eat.
Right, it has a lot to do with it. And I think when we get back, let's dive into the vitamins that are responsible for this, and maybe that changes in your diet can help with this.
Well, it's interesting because it says they're more likely to be overweight or have higher stress levels in their lives. And so are those contributing factors? That's what we'll look at when we come back.
That's
from the
for
break.
sure. So before we go away, please remind you to pick up Primal Edge during these COVID times. Very important to have good health. And of course, if you want to follow the show and decide for yourself what is out there, pick up the Health Signals newsletter. We'll be right back.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge. Just $89, exclusively at TFNN.com.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com. Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
And welcome back. We're talking about what are the causes of gray hair as you age. And in the 2018 study we were talking about, they said people were less likely to be overweight, or more likely to be overweight, or report higher levels of stress in their lives. The study also said it was possible to prevent graying, or at least slow it down through changes in your diet, maintaining normal weight, or decreasing alcohol consumption. That's a sad, that's a sad state of affairs right there.
Well, one of the things that the researchers at the Mayo Clinic found was that some causes of gray hair, premature gray hair, are reversible. And it was interesting because they talked specifically about vitamin B12 deficiencies.
Yeah, and common natural sources of B12. That's very important.
Dairy products and meat.
Yeah. Which explains why a vegetarian does gray.
Could be a factor in premature hair graying, yeah. And it also says that as you get older, you sometimes have difficulty absorbing vitamin B12 through digestion. And in one study, there were 55% of patients with pernicious anemia, which is caused by a lack of B12, had premature gray hair.
Yeah. The other factors are smoking. Smoking has long been considered a factor in premature graying. There was a study in 2013 confirming that the association among Middle Eastern men and women living in Jordan. The study published in the Indian Dermatology Online Journal found that among 207 studies, participants, smokers were substantively more at risk of the premature graying
than non-smokers.
Yeah.
So, and they don't know exactly why, but they did say that smoking could be a cause because of oxidative stress.
Sure.
And that can damage the melanin-producing cells.
Yeah.
And when they did the tests on the melanocytes in the gray hair bulbs, they frequently showed the signs of that kind of damage.
Yeah.
So that's, take away oxygen.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense. Stress is another factor, and this was studied at Harvard University, that can accelerate the graying process.
You know, they say people get that when, oh my God, it gave me gray hair. You know, I was so stressed. You're causing me to go gray. You know, with parents telling their children, "You're giving me gray hair."
Yeah, and of course, a lot of people from Europe, because of the war during World War II, I imagine also World War II, not only did they lose their teeth, but they had the graying too, and that had to do with nutrition, probably the stress, probably everything involved in that, for sure. And another thing they mentioned here was the diseases, different types of diseases.
But just before you do that, let's just finish with the stress, because it says that they found, when they did experiments on mice, they found that any kind of stress, hair-raising experiences, fear, that kind of thing, activated stem cells.
Now, is this gray mice that they're studying? I don't know.
You know, I wonder. Well, it said after a few days, all of the pigment-regenerating stem cells were lost under constant stress. So I'm thinking about what's been going on for the past year or 10 months, you know, and the fear and the stress and the changes, and are we going to see that translate into more premature graying, which would be an interesting study to do in the next 10 years. You know, no, I'm not going to do it, but
thank goodness.
You know, and once they're gone, the stem cells that regenerate pigments cannot be regenerated. So that damage is permanent. That's kind of another reason to do what you need to do to relieve your own stress and to help yourself stay calm and able to deal with things. It helps you from getting gray hair.
Yeah.
Okay. Diseases?
Yeah, there's all kinds of different diseases. I'm sure everything has a little bit to do with it, but especially...
vitiligo and alopecia.
Yeah, well, those are conditions more than diseases, I think.
Yeah, and they have to do with losing the melanin.
Yeah, yeah. And then the last part of this is cures for graying hair, trying to solve the puzzle of graying hair is as old as history. Clay tablets from the ancient empires during the 7th century BC include medical tests describing a means to darken the premature graying by applying, often for days at a time, various mixtures of ingredients that include cypress oil, leek seeds, poppy seeds, pine gum, and a head of a black raven, or gall from a black ox. Those are a little tougher to get, the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, the recipes have changed a bit.
Yeah, we're not doing that too much anymore.
Now we use chemicals, natural products to dye our hair. You know, so what? Let's talk about the diet aspect of.
Yeah, in fact, the next article I have here is the best foods to eat to support your B12 vitamins. That's really important.
We really want to fortify that.
That's right. So let's start off with this. People often wonder how macronutrients such as protein, fiber, carbohydrates contribute to a well-rounded, balanced diet. I don't notice they don't mention fat in here. Fiber is not really a macronutrient. Fat would be in there. You might also take essential minerals such as iron and vitamin C into consideration. But the most overlooked nutrient for this is B.
Vitamin B.
And then specifically B12. It's essential to the healthy function of the bodies, being responsible for the creation of red blood cells and the maintenance of our nervous system.
Yeah, low levels of B12 are linked to some types of anemia, and it also it helps with blood and cellular transport within the body. It's also important to consider where you're getting your B12 from.
Yeah, it's important to consider that because if you're a vegetarian or on a vegan diet, there are different things that are fortified with B12. It might not be the best way to go about it. So,
so what are the foods that are?
Yeah, exactly.
That do boost B12, according to this article?
Well, the number one on the list is kidney. Lamb kidney contains around 70 milligrams per 100 grams. A liver is another one. Red meat.
Now, chicken livers contain 49 milligrams per 100 grams, and an ox liver has 110 milligrams. Yeah. Not so easy to get an ox liver, but you can certainly get chicken livers.
Yeah, much easier.
Beef livers.
Red meat, of course, that's easy to get, and megagrams
3 milligrams.
Milligrams, excuse me.
Per 100.
Sardines are high in that. Cod has a little bit in it, and milk is very high in it, and eggs, of course.
Well, actually, milk has in 200 milliliters, it has around 0.8 milligrams. So you wouldn't want to depend on milk as your sole source of B12.
Yeah. So the thing is if you're a vegan or vegetarian, how do you get B12 in your diet? Plant foods can be fortified with vitamins. So this is what happens. If you were, for example, to have a cereal and milk.
Yeah, this article suggests a bowl of cereal with milk, which we are not suggesting because carbohydrates spike your sugar, and you start the morning with with a little sugar rush that causes a crash, and it turns to fat if it can't be processed.
There's another problem with cereals because they don't contain many nutrients that are natural. Your body is actually robbed of some nutrients while you're digesting this in order to have the digestion take place. So some of the calcium out of your bones and from your skin and things like that. So that's not a good way to go. So we'll be right back, folks. Stick around.
You've heard Nico de Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
So welcome back. We're following the guide here. 8 nutrients you may be missing if you're a vegetarian or a vegan. So this is important to explore, because if your health is compromised in any way by going to this vegan diet or the vegetarian type of diet, which it seems like society is really pushing people towards because of all this fake food coming out and things like that. So it's important to understand what vitamins might be missing and how do you get them if you're not eating the way we are.
And again, this article talks a lot about vitamin B12 as being so important. If you don't have B12, it's very interesting. And, you know, vitamin B12 deficiency can manifest as anemia. Mm-hmm. And then it also can include, the symptoms can include fatigue, weakness, constipation, not wanting to eat, weight loss. Signs of vitamin B12 deficiency without anemia may be tingling in your hands and feet, depression, confusion, memory problems, and balance issues. You know, those are all things that people tend to associate with growing old. Yeah. But maybe it's just a vitamin B12 deficiency that we're talking about.
Well, it's also important maintaining appropriate brain functioning and blood flow throughout the body.
Yeah, that's critical.
Yeah, and that's mainly found in animal products. Mm-hmm. So this is why, if you're following that other lifestyle with a vegetarian or vegan, this could be definitely a deficiency.
Well, you want to be aware of it and take steps to supplement it if you are.
Number 2 is zinc. And we've heard zinc is important to ward off colds, flus also. Plays a real important in regulating the immune system itself. It's hard to get naturally if you're a vegetarian, another thing. Since zinc is found in limited quantities in plant foods, zinc absorption from plant is reduced at a deficiency. So a lot of these plant nutrients that are in there are hard to for your body to assimilate. And this is why the older cultures have always gone to changing these foods in some way, by fermenting them, by soaking them, by cooking them, certainly, but also putting
charcoal.
Yeah, if you just look at soy, they figured out to put it underwater in brine for 7 or 8 years for all these nutrients to be available. And without that, you're just eating something and there's nothing there, really.
Well, you know, it says here that zinc deficiencies can lead to an impaired immune system, slow wound healing, hair loss, diarrhea, and loss of appetite. And again, hair loss people associate with growing older, but it could be a vitamin deficiency.
Certainly could be.
And they suggest pumpkin seeds and yogurt and cashews and chickpeas.
Yeah, and remember, the first part of the sentence is the key. Try foods such as fortified breakfast cereals containing pumpkin seeds, yogurt, cashews. Again, this stuff is not in there naturally, or if it's in there, it's very low, or it's not available to you.
Right.
In its form.
Right. Not easily absorbed.
Right.
Yeah, and but it just says be careful not to overdo zinc. So if you're going to choose a supplement, you want to really do some research on it and figure out the best one.
Yeah, find which ones are pure in that. Next one on here is iron. Mm-hmm. So according to the Academy of Nutrients and Nutrition and Diuretics, iron dietetics. Okay. That's my problem.
Something else.
Yes. Iron is the most common nutritional deficiency and the leading cause of anemia in the United States.
Yeah, and you get 2 to 3 times more iron from animal sources than from plant sources.
Yeah, iron has become a very important role in transporting oxygen throughout the blood to maintain our energy levels.
And then when you have an iron deficiency, you know, you remember the old days of the advertisements of iron deficiency anemia that talked about fatigue, dizziness, headache, pale skin, weakness, and sometimes craving for weird things like ice and dirt.
Yeah. Well, if you're eating dirt, you probably have a little problem. So I don't know. Unless it's fulvic and humic acid, I guess. Okay, so the recommendation.
Go ahead.
Meal options like bell pepper and bean salad and spinach salad with lemon vinaigrette or fortified cereals again with berries and beans and things like that, as well as tofu and cashews, spinach, breakfast cereals again, all loaded with iron, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but
these iron foods are not as bioavailable as if you get it out of the animal. That's the only thing I can say about that.
Yeah, and they also suggest you take vitamin C with the iron to help increase the absorption.
Next on the list is the omega-3 fatty acids. And of course, we know that the cold water fish is good for this. A lot of people really don't know that red meat from a cow that's eating its natural food, grass, has very, very good omega-3s in it. So all the meat sources, all the fish sources are very, very good sources of omega-3s, where the plant sources, again, we have to do something else to these plants in order for these to become bioavailable.
And well, the omega-3s, again, are very important in brain and eye function, anti-inflammatory properties, and the ability to help lower cholesterol.
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons why people are taking the omega-3s. And we take a supplement. It's in the Primal Edge. One thing to consider, too, this is mainly the sources are cold water fish, so that means that this needs to be refrigerated. It gets rancid very quickly in heat, even room temperature. So when you're taking omega-3s, you need to put them once this bottle is opened. A lot of manufacturers put things like turmeric in it to avoid that, so that's a good thing to do. But, you know, really research this. So next on the list is vitamin D.
Especially in the winter.
Yeah, especially in the winter, which we're in now. In Florida, we're lucky. We get the vitamin D3, which is really important.
You know, and there's less sun in the wintertime, and certainly the further north you go, the less sun you have.
Yeah.
So you have to be aware of
And this is why in the spring, when I lived up in Michigan, that first day of spring when the sun came out and the grass was green, you would lay out there for a while and it would feel so good. It's been missing it for so long. But even small exposures of 10 or 15 minutes a day is enough. In the winter, probably maybe an hour, you know, but get exposure. Take off your clothes.
and get exposure.
Yeah, that's true.
Vitamin D contributes to good bone health and boosts the body's immune system. Yeah. So again, it's very important. And they do say that sources of vitamin D include eggs, cheese, and then the fish and the cow's milk. Yeah. And
the last one on the list here is calcium. It's essential for building and maintaining strong bones. We all know that. But we always think that dairy is a good source of calcium. Again, this is fortified. You start heating up this milk to make it pasteurized. Then you're destroying it, so you have to refortify it. There's better things. There are some great calciums in some of the real greens. Again,
collard greens, turnip greens, kale, broccoli, and bok choy.
Yep.
And they also suggest soybeans, chickpeas, black beans, and almonds.
And they say it's a good idea to supplement calcium on a daily basis if you're a vegan or a
vegetarian,
especially for women and children. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And they also say daily exercise using your own body weight can be a helpful way to increase bone strength.
No doubt about that. That's for sure. Okay, stick around, folks. We got a little bit more during the break, of course. Please pick up our Primal Edge, the One Shot Wonder, and, of course, the Health Signals newsletter. And Ellen and I will be right back.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based, vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, just $89, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. The printing presses are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The U.S. deficit has risen 200% in 1 year with no end in sight. The markets are looking for an additional stimulus bill to get us through this once-in-a-generation pandemic. There is no free lunch, folks. The more stimulus dollars put into the marketplace, the less your dollar is worth each and every day. This is the time to protect yourself with a portion of your portfolio in the metal market. The Gold Report comes out each Monday morning. I bisect and dissect the dollar, silver, gold, the XAU, and the HUI. The Gold Report is a long-term hedge against the dilution of your buying power. The U.S. has put more than $6 trillion into the marketplace in the last 6 months, with more expected in the next few months. The market did and does need the stimulus, but it will have long-term implications on our buying power. The Gold Report comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to TFNN.com and order the Gold Report now. Protect your buying power. Order the Gold Report now.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And we're talking about gray hair and how to slow it down and how to treat it, but what about how do you go gray if you want to?
Yeah.
And, you know, the first thing you have to think about, the first thing for me was, well, do I really want to look like I'm older than people think I am? Mm-hmm. You know, do I want to have gray hair? But there's no way to know what your gray hair is going to look like. I had a feeling that it wasn't going to be, I wasn't going to have snow white hair or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And in fact, as it's been growing out, I've discovered that it's very salt and pepper. And in fact, I have dark roots at this point, which is kind of interesting for me. And I'm quite certain I'm going to like it very much.
It seems to suit you well.
Yeah, it just, well, you know, nature knows what it's doing too. It helps, it goes with your skin and, you know, that kind of thing. And so, and gray hair is trending right now, which is kind of odd.
Yeah.
And young people are actually dyeing their hair gray or coloring their hair gray too. And a lot of people are adding gray to their hair.
Yeah,
so.
This has to do with some of these shows like Game of Thorns and the X-Men. Game of Thrones, yeah, Thorns. So it could be X-Men.
Yeah, but with characters that have gray hair, silver hair,
So the first thing they say is face your fears. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I've always looked at old age as something I want.
Well, certainly every day you get up and your feet hit the floor and you say, yes, another day, this is a good thing.
Yeah, but just the whole idea. I mean, when I hit 30, people were saying, oh, you're 30. How do you feel? I feel great. You know, it happened at 60.
It's just a number.
Yeah, and 70. I'm looking forward to the 80s and 90s and 100. I want to be up there and I want to be healthy. And so I'm looking forward to these things. So I think facing your fears, it doesn't even enter the picture for me.
Well, but it does for most people. And it has to do with people are afraid of dying. People are afraid of growing old. People are afraid of infirmity and being helpless. And
I don't think people are afraid of dying. Maybe afraid of, how they're going to die. But you can't fear something that you have never. A lot of people are afraid of dying. If you've never experienced something, you can't be afraid of it.
There's nothing rational about it.
Yes, it's actually a fear of letting go from what you have.
Well, and not knowing what comes next. And that's true of all of our fears, you know, and all of our anxieties. And so, kind of, there's a few ways to do it. There's one, cut your hair very short and let it grow, let your roots grow out and then cut your hair very short.
Well, first they say discuss it with your hairdresser. Probably important, especially for women. Men, probably not so much. I mean...
Well, yeah, men tend to go gray without discussing it. You know, they just go gray and they don't think about it and they don't go. But still, a lot of men color their hair too.
Yeah, I know a couple that...
These days,
yeah.
you know, they do, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
But the question is, you know, you have to take charge of it as an individual. As a woman, I want to take charge of it and decide how I'm going to do it. And my first decision was, I had been growing my hair out since January, and I was not going to cut it off.
Okay.
You know, I spent all this time growing it out. I don't want to cut it off.
Sure.
So then the question becomes, well, how do you let it go gray? And so.
Well, your hairdresser had a couple of different ideas.
Yes, she did.
And
Yes, she did.
She's been doing a nice job of it too.
Yeah, and you know, you find a hairdresser who really has a good handle on the whole thing. And there's, you know, one way to do it, of course, is just let it grow out. If you're willing to have half your hair gray and half your hair dark or a different color, that's one thing. Or if you're willing to cut the hair so that it becomes much closer to all gray, then that works. Mm-hmm. But the way I'm doing it is by stripping out the color in a manner that looks like highlighting. Mm-hmm. And little by little, and plus that's a process damages your hair when you strip the color out.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a good idea to do that.
Well, you can, in fact, do your whole head all at once. But there's a risk of severe damage to the hair that takes a long time to recover and so on. So.
Well, luckily, I think we have more products these days that will fortify the hair and things like that.
Right.
Number 4 is pick a modern haircut based on your look and lifestyle. And here's where your stylist comes in and says, this is good for your face. And maybe you've had her for a while and she knows what you want. And that's a good thing,
Well, you know, you think about your grandmother's gray hair and the gray hair today. Just take a look at the pictures on the internet of movie stars who have gray hair. And just a plethora of gorgeous styles and short and long and curly and straight and just depends on your hair and it depends on what you want to do. There's no reason for you to look dowdy or to look old. No reason like you wouldn't have gone that way if your hair were colored. So there's no difference really. And it's an individual thing. And
so number 5 on here says, okay, you've made a decision, you picked the kind of style, and now you're going to hit the salon.
Yeah, and again, the choices are, you know, do you do it all at once? Do you put gray on? Do you strip out color? Mm-hmm. Do you do it little by little? And my choice was to do it little by little. And the other good thing about doing it little by little is that I had time to get used to it. You know, it was more like a natural process. Mm-hmm. And so far, there's been no one who has said to me, oh my goodness, you've gotten so gray. Nothing. I don't think people look at you that closely, realistically.
It could be. Number 6 is skip the box dyes. If you're tempted to save a bundle using home coloring, that probably would be a mistake, especially going gray. I think that'd be harder. Avoid gradual gray coverage dyes. So there's the dyes you can put in there, kind of
little
like
by little, they get grayer and
kind of
grayer,
like the opposite of the stuff for men, where you put a little bit in and the gray goes away.
Yeah.
And then number 7 is choose hair products wisely. Well, like I said, we have a good hairdresser, and they have dynamite products these days. And most of these good companies are real natural products, so they don't damage the hair anymore. They actually help you with that.
Yeah, and there's all different shades of gray. I mean, there's silver and white and dark and salt and pepper, and everybody's different.
Yeah, and if you keep dyeing it, then you never really know what your natural is.
Right, and that's, so at some point also, you know, spending the money and the time in the hairdresser and the regular visits to keep your hair colored. And
so the other things they mention on here is choose the hair care products wisely. Okay, we got that. Fight the frizz. In other words, don't damage your hair.
Well, not only that, but gray hair has a totally different texture than hair with.
A little thicker, I think, isn't it?
It's frizzier.
Frizzier. Okay.
Tends to be drier.
Oh, okay. So,
Tends to be a little, and sometimes it gets a little wiry, and it gets a little uncontrolled. And again, there are so many products these days that you can really control it, and you can do keratin if you want to, and there's other ways to deal with it. But you wanna deal with that, keep your hair healthy. And also they talk about for women recalibrating your makeup.
Sure, because now you have a different look, it's a different color, so you need to accent
A little
your
bit
face
more
a little
color,
different.
maybe. Of course, we're wearing a mask all day. You don't have to worry about that.
That's true.
There's a lot of eye makeup.
Yeah, and the last thing, number 10, is revamp your clothes. So here's a chance to revamp your wardrobe, which is kind of cool too. Who
Yeah, and
doesn't
they
like
say
that?
don't wear gray, black, or unless you're going to add some other colors to it. A lot of, as you get older,
Yeah, and
gray.
you do see that. You see the gray hair, and they're wearing all gray.
Yeah, and
That
then
is
they
not a good
wash
look.
you out and you disappear. You don't want to do that.
That's for sure. Stick around, folks. We got a little bit more.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as,
Whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
you see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us, and Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step by step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
TFNN has developed a daily programming lineup for traders by traders. We start every trading day live at 8:30 a.m. with Tommy O'Brien hosting the morning market kickoff as he starts the day off by breaking down everything you need to know about what's going on for the trading day ahead. At 9 a.m., Larry Pesavento takes your calls and questions live on the air for the opening bell as he hosts Trade What You See. At 10 a.m., Tom and Tommy O'Brien host the Bull Bear Trading Hour. At 11 a.m., it's Kevin Hinks and Alex Coffey from TD Ameritrade Network with Fast Market. Basil Chapman at noon with the Tiger Technicians Hour. Steve Rhodes hosts the Trader's Edge at 1 p.m. Dave White with the Power Trading Hour at 2 p.m. And Tom O'Brien closes out the day for the final hour of trading live from 3 till 4. Don't miss a second of our daily programming lineup. Tune in to Tiger TV every trading day live at TFNN.com. Educating investors.
So this last article, 4 Natural Ways to Reverse Gray Hair, really talks about, number one, getting
Well, it's myth busting.
Yeah, myth busting.
busting.
Getting more humic materials.
Minerals.
Of course, this is in the Primal Edge. Take high-quality humic. Minerals can nourish, detoxify, and reduce signs of aging in the body.
Yeah, and it says signs of premature aging like constipation, fatigue, dry skin, and gray hair may actually be a depletion in our prenatal jing, the constitutional energy we're born with.
Yeah.
So you can replenish that by nourishing the adrenals and the thyroid with healing foods, and that includes the humic minerals.
That's right. Another one is focus on proper nutrition, and that's what, of course, the Primal Edge is all about. It's really important to understand that diet and nutrition and how you digest food determines how the nutrients enter your body and stay there.
And what you can absorb and what you can use and convert into good stuff.
And try anti-aging herbs. These are, again, in all the Primal Edge. So very, very important. And number 5 here is always eating fermented foods. Remember, the fermenting changes the way the minerals react in your body. Your body's going to be able to absorb these minerals and vitamins because you fermented the food. If you don't, you're getting a very, very minuscule amount. And this is why the vegan and the vegetarian lifestyles are a little bit more complicated, because there's certain things you have to do to these vegetables and starches in order for them to become viable for you. There's a lot more in these articles, and they'll be in the Health Signals newsletter.
But it also, and they talk about the habits that you should avoid, and eating too much sugar, especially at night before you go to bed, and not getting enough sleep, and the stress and the sleep and the signs of aging all go together, and that's. Everything is connected, and everything you need to do to take care of yourself and to reduce your stress and to eat properly and to get enough sleep, it all contributes to your well-being, your health, your longevity, and your peace of mind.
Yeah.
Be safe, everyone.
Thanks for sticking around, folks. See you next time. Bye-bye.